Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're a returning viewer, hey, thank you for coming back to learn with me. And if you are new here, hey, it's exciting to see you here. We are basically learning about the laws of Ghana, basic ones, so that we all know how things work within the law in Ghana, right? So today we're going to talk about child offenders. If a child commits a crime in Ghana, what are the steps? What will happen to the child? Is it every child that can commit a crime in Ghana? What are some of the punishments that can be given to a child who commits a crime in Ghana? And then all the questions that may come up with respect to their rights, the privileges, and all the things that they are entitled to. Yes, so in Ghana, our law says that if you are not 12 years old, you cannot commit a crime in Ghana. So from age day 1 to 11 years, 364 or 65 days, you cannot commit a crime. But immediately you are 12 years old, the law says that you can't commit a crime in Ghana. And if you are 12 years old and you steal, then it means you have committed a crime. So the laws that I'm going to discuss today affects people who are 12 years and above, but who are not 18 years. People are called juveniles in Ghana. It means they are children and they will be treated in a special way, not the same way as adults are treated. So if you are within these ages and you commit a crime in Ghana, the law says that you can be arrested by either a police officer or a private person. We'll discuss more details when we talk about arrest in our next video. But then, whilst you're arrested as a juvenile or as a young person who has committed the crime, you have some rights. You have a right that your parents are supposed to be informed immediately that you have been arrested, or a guardian or a close relative or your lawyer should be immediately informed that you have been arrested. Apart from these people, if we are trying to get your lawyer or your guardian or your relative and we are not getting that person, it means that the police are supposed to inform a probation officer, which is a social welfare officer in Ghana, that a child has been arrested and we cannot reach out to the parent or the guardian or his lawyer, so that social welfare officer will come and help trace the relatives and then the family members of that child. If the police is minded to take any information from the child or interview the child or maybe take his statements, the law says that either of these persons that we just mentioned are supposed to be there before the statement is taken. If these persons are not there, it will be wrong, and that statement cannot be used against him anyway. And so the police must make sure that they have all these persons or one of them there, at least one of them. And if you can't get them, please contact the social welfare officer in that district so that the person will help trace the family and relatives of the child which has been arrested. Right? When you are arrested, there are some other rights. You have a right to privacy throughout all the period that you have been arrested. Even in the court days, you have some privacy. Nobody is supposed to release your information, your picture as a child, or your name, anything to journalists, whoever. If you do that, any person who does that commits a crime and can be fined or be given up to 12 years imprisonment. Because yes, whether or not the child has committed a crime, or that child's right has to be protected at all costs. You also have a right to be kept in a place which is different from where adults offenders are kept. And so you can't be kept in a prison, remand, or you have to be kept in a special place. Even in the police station, you have to be kept in a special place which is different from where adults are kept. The police have a right to grant you bail or to say, oh, we'll take you to court in 48 hours. If the police grant you bail, they have to look for a guardian or someone who is fit to keep this child with them until the police has need of the child. If the police don't do this, then they have to send the child offender to the court within 48 hours. The police can also decide that, you know what, we are not taking you to court, we won't grant you bail. We are not going to consider bail, but we are cautioning you. Maybe this is your first time and the offense that you have committed is not a serious offense, and so this is your first time. We want to caution you verbally, don't do this again, and that's okay. They have the right to do that. They can also say that, you know what, we are cautioning you in written form. So write it down and say, this guy who is 13 years of age has committed this crime. It is not a serious offense. We are cautioning him. This is his last time. Those records will be kept in the police station for up to 2 years. So that anytime you commit another offense and you are brought to the police, they will know that you have been cautioned already. Yes. Now, if the police do not do this and then they take you to the court also has a right to either remand you or to grant you bail to your guardian or a best fit person. If they grant you the bail, those people that you are given to are supposed to make sure that you come to court whenever you are needed. Now, if the court is remanding you, we have remand homes in Ghana that you can be kept in, separate from adult prisoners, so that whenever the court needs you, you would come there. Yes, so someone may ask that how do we determine if this child is less than 18 years or above 12 years? A court relies on birth certificates, baptismal certificates. If you're not getting the birth certificates and baptismal certificates, the court usually relies on medical certificates. A medical officer would take a sample from the child and run a test and bring the age to the court, and the court will decide on the age of the child. If it is decided that your age is above 18 or you are 18 plus, it means that you are not supposed to be taken as a juvenile, and so you'll be taken to the adult court. Mind you, if you are a child and you commit an offense, the law says that you're not supposed to be tried in the same courts that adults are tried. And so ordinarily there will be a 3-member panel who will sit down. The 3-member panel, one is a judge who is the magistrate, one is a social welfare officer, and another one is someone within the community. They sit in threes and they decide on the matters of children. However, if you are a child and you commit an offense with an adult, then the law says that you will be tried together with the adults in the normal court. Then later on, when they're about to sentence you, they'll bring you to the juvenile court for you to be sentenced. Now, remember that as a child offender, the law says the judge or the panel who is supposed to take a decision concerning the child is supposed to look at the best interest of that child. Yes, the best interest of that child who has actually committed the offense. Everything that is done in the courtroom is supposed to be in the best interest of the child, even if it is a punishment or whatever. The court should consider that every decision that we are making right now is something that will be in the best interest of the child. Yes. The law says that the court which decides on child offender matters, which is the juvenile court, are supposed to be a very informal setting where the police will not wear their uniform, the judge will not wear the robe and the wig. It's supposed to be very informal, just so that it will be very flexible. It doesn't mean that the laws will not be upheld. The law and evidence and everything will be taken care of as though it was a normal court, but then it will be an informal setting. Now, when the court sits and they go through the procedure and then they come to the conclusion that the child is guilty of the crime that he or she is being charged with, the court usually orders a social welfare officer to go and make a report concerning the child's home, where he lives. They can even go to the school. They have to ask questions about circumstances which led to the commission of the crime. The victim, speak to the victim, why it happened that way, and bring the report back to the court. That report will also have some recommendations as to the kind of punishment that should be given to the child. This helps the court to make an informed decision which will be in the best interest of the child. Yes, that report is called a social inquiry report. The parents and the victim are all supposed to help come out with that report so that the court will look at that to decide how to punish the child. What are some of the forms of punishment that are available to a child who has committed a crime? The law says that the panel will have to sit down and look at the best fit punishment. Sometimes they can just allow for some admission of the crime. The child will apologize for the wrongdoing. The child can state that he will not do that again and that he can be released back into the community. One form is that the court can ensure a reconciliation between the victim and the offender, the child offender. The court can order that some payment should be made to the victim for maybe some harm or damages that has been caused to the victim, some reconciliation, apologies, and all of that. Anything that will make sure that the child is released back into the society and the child can fit in well. The child will be given to a family member or someone who is best fit to take care of the person, so that the court will know that this child may have committed an offense, but this is the best decision. Take the child back, let them apologize, let the family reconcile with the other victim or the victim's family, and then let's make sure that the child doesn't do what he has done again. Another punishment is that the courts can release the child on probation. Yes, probation means that you'll be supervised for maybe 1 year or for like 18 months. That a social welfare officer will be coming around to see how you are living your life, whether you are being a good boy, the person that we gave the child to is actually taking care of the child well. That's like a supervised probation, right? There's another thing that you can be sent to a correctional center. The correctional center is what we call the Nkwadaboni school. That is supposed to be a detention. You'll be in that place for maybe up to about 3 years maximum, and then you go through some training, some reformation, so that within that period when you come out, you would have reformed, and then you would not come and do what you actually did earlier. The parents can be asked to also pay a fine for whatever the child has done. They may ask to pay some compensation to the victim as well. Everything about the child is so important that we want to make sure it is in their best interest. So there are some offenses which have been listed as serious offenses under the law: rape, defilement, robbery with aggravated circumstances, murder, and offenses involving firearms. The law has classified them as serious offenses. If you commit these ones as a child, the police cannot grant you bail. The court is the only one that can grant you bail. And so the police will have to by all means take you to the court within 48 hours. If you commit that offense too, your punishment will be up to 3 years. I think it will be 3 years. Yes, it's a serious offense. The law views it differently. And then if you are a child and you commit murder, you will not be tried in the children's court, which is the juvenile court. You'll be taken to a normal court. You'll be tried. Then when you are ready and your sentence, you have to be sentenced. If you are convicted and you have to be sentenced, then they will bring you to the juvenile court for them to sentence you. But then, although the normal courts and the adults court, if someone is convicted of murder, his punishment is death. No child can be sentenced to a death sentence, and so the maximum that you can give to a child or someone within those ages that we have already discussed is 3 years. And that 3 years will not be in prison. It will be in a correctional center, what we call them Nkwadaboni school. It can be the senior correctional center. Take note that no child who is below the age of 18 years should be sent to the prison, the adult prison. It has to be a remand home. It has to be a correctional center. And there are correctional centers here in Ghana who take such children and train them and make sure that they go through the process of reformation, so that they will not be a burden on society when they are released back. And so it doesn't matter that the crime that a child committed, you cannot convict them into the prison or into even a remand home for more than 3 years. Please take note, if there's any child who is going through such trouble, please draw the attention of a lawyer or someone, a family member, to this, and let us seek justice for the child. I know there are lots of questions that will come up after this. Obviously, I cannot discuss the law of juveniles and child offenders and all of it under this short video. Please leave your questions, your specific questions. I will answer them and I will attend to all of you in the comment box. Until the next video, thank you, and please watch out for a child who is close to you so that they do not get into conflict with the law. Thank you for watching, and see you again. Bye.